Hi everyone, happy Friday. I'm recording this class for you so that you'll have practice to do on Friday when I'm away. Let's go ahead and go over to the wall. I have my blanket over my mat as usual. I want to encourage you to do that because we're going to be sliding around a little bit today. And let's just go ahead and take our first position, Viparita Karani, usually called legs up the wall. Go ahead and get yourself settled there. Tuck on in, recline, get comfortable. Let's start with one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart. And right away, let yourself take a few deeper, longer breaths. Let's breathe in to the count of 5. And out to the count of 5. And in the same way. And out. One more time. Good. Now let both hands rest on your belly. Close your eyes if they're still open. And feel all the places where your body is touching the floor. The back of your head, back of your shoulders, arms, elbows. Feel any parts of your trunk that touch, your pelvis, your upper back, your waist. Notice where your legs are touching the wall, probably just your heels, unless you're using furniture the way I am. But just notice what is touching. What do you feel? And let's relax a little bit into every one of those contact points. Now let's start to connect that relaxing with your exhalations. Each time you exhale and relax, imagine yourself becoming more like a mountain, more sturdy and firm and steady. And perhaps even broader, where a mountain is very, very broad at the base. So if we're becoming more like a mountain, the back of our body becoming the base of the mountain, then we could say the parts facing upward, like your nose, your ribs, your belly, these parts are more like the top of the mountain. And especially as we lie in Viparita Karani, the toes up so high are very much like the top of a mountain. And you might even feel the toes getting cool. Let's imagine now on our inhalations, the fresh, pristine air that you feel at the top of the mountain. Breathe in and imagine that clear, refreshing air coming into you. As you exhale, you send it down to the base of the mountain to encourage stability. Feel how this inhalation is clear, pure. And the meaning of clear, we could apply it to many different things. So we could say it's clear like something that's see-through, or clear as in something that's something that you're understanding. You understand, it's clear now. What if we could use this breath as a sense of clarifying or purifying our thoughts? So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with our thoughts. It's just that sometimes they get sticky. We get attached. We either love an idea or hate an idea, and that causes us suffering. So let's imagine first the breath just moving through the physical body, as if the body became clear. And I don't mean clear like glass, but let's say clearer like a screen compared to a window. And that the breath could move through that screen. Where can you relax in your body to encourage this feeling of being clear like a screen, where the breath could just pass through? So we're already moving to a mind-body experience because we have ideas about our bodies that we get stuck to. And sometimes the muscles and fascia get very stuck, stiff, sticky feeling. So as you're breathing and attempting to relax your body, notice that your thoughts are also woven into this process. Breath is moving through the body as much as we will allow it. Let's try for breath now moving through thoughts. Whatever you think, whatever comes into your mind, rather than letting it be something you're stuck on or you hold fast to, let it become more and more holy, as in full of holes. So when I mentioned the screen, maybe you mentioned tiny openings between the mesh, or maybe you imagined large openings. Regardless of the size of the openings, let your thoughts also be something through which you can breathe. And certainly, as we're working with thoughts, we could work with feelings in the same way. Maybe what we start to notice, whether we're working with feelings, thoughts, or the physical world, that none of it lasts, none of it is permanent. Thoughts arise, feelings arise, sensation in the body, and they fall away. So in our breathing, can we just let them move through us, again, without getting too stuck? Now, the hands that are on your belly, spread your fingers apart and imagine breathing between each of the fingers. Maybe noticing less and less the fingers, more and more the space. And then what if we also open the arms to the sides with the fingers spread apart? Breathing and letting life breathe through you, letting it move through you. And what if we also attempt to spread the toes? Noticing, living in those spaces between the toes. And then we can take the legs wider apart as well. Letting it all just move through you. So there is a clear feeling clearer and clearer as far as breath and detachment being the environment. And maybe as we play around with the idea of impermanence, there's more clarity about what is real. In the Yoga Sutras, they give 10 moral precepts to live by. One of them is called Saucha, which is usually translated as to clarity, cleanliness, purity. And it could apply to many different things, but let's say that we want to apply it to clarity of thought. So we want to know what's real, but we don't want to get too attached to any idea. Feel for what feels real. Okay, now let's bend the knees, bringing the soles of the feet together. Then continue to let everything just move through you. Sensations, thoughts, feelings. It could be that the holes in your screen or your mesh or your lace have become a little bigger. And it's more about the not knowing spaces, getting more comfortable with not knowing. Let's take the hands now and place your palms on your inner thighs, pressing the inner thighs towards the wall. Keep your fingers spread wide apart as best you can. And what if we were inviting the breath to come right into the hip joints now? Now let's decrease the pressure with the hands and try to increase the effort with the legs to pull themselves towards the wall. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart and lace your fingers together. Just take a note of which thumb went on top. Turn your palms up towards the ceiling so the hands are inside out. And then stretch your arms overhead along the floor. Draw the thighs toward the wall, push the palms away from the wall. Letting it all move through you. Breathe in with me now. And as you breathe out, unlace your hands and take your arms out to the sides, palms turned up. Now we'll bring the knees back together and stretch the legs up the wall. Spread your toes again, spread your fingers, letting breath and life move through you. Bend your knees now. We're going to get ready for our twist. So I want to give you a different option for the lower arm. We're going to be rolling to the right and play with the option of putting your hand under your head, just cupping your head in your hands today. And stack your knees up. And then we'll take the left arm forward. We're going to make circles with that left arm, circling out overhead, out to the side, and coming back around. Keep going a few rounds that way. Just going to adjust my camera a little bit. Be sure that you can see what you need to see. And I can see what I need to see. And then start to feel for a place along that circle where you're going to pause. Where will it be today? What is helpful in this practice of letting life move through you? So you'll feel probably some limitations somewhere in your body, maybe in that left side of your chest, maybe somewhere in your hips or along your spine. Just let life and breath move through. So they become clearer by having fewer strongly held beliefs. Now, I want to make sure you know that all the things I tell you, all these philosophical ideas from the Yoga Sutras, I'm working on them too every day. I just had to go to an appointment in a nearby town that has really different culture than the town where I live. I was noticing how judgmental I felt and how separate I felt from the people there. And yet it was all in my mind. So when I can let things like that blow through me, I'll let you know. But it's still a growing edge for me and for everyone probably. I always think it's amazing that the founders of the Yoga Sutras were struggling with many of the same things we struggle with today. Being able to be clear, to be less attached, to have less aversion. All right, now let's roll back to the center. And if you migrated away from the wall, you might want to scooch in a little closer, as difficult as that might be. And then let's bend the knees again. Left hand under your head, rolling to your left. And we'll make the circles with the right arm. Start to feel for the place along that circle where you would like to pause. Let breath move through, let life move through. Feel that sensations come and go. Thoughts come and go. Feelings arise and disappear. Rather than trying to follow thoughts, or feelings, or sensations, what if we just let them move through, like wind, like weather, like water? Let's take another breath together here. And then roll back over onto your back. Stretch your legs up the wall. If you shifted your hips, bring them back to center. And then bring your hands back together at your heart. This time, lace them together with the other thumb on top. Turn the palms up. And again, take your arms overhead along the floor. Now let's bend the knees, and we're going to go for a cross-legged position on the wall, crossing your shins as if you're sitting on the wall. Stretch your arms away from the wall. And then let's start to rock the pelvis. As you inhale, arch your low back away from the floor. And as you exhale, lengthen your back along the floor. Keep going that way with your breath. While you're breathing, imagine that breath just moving through any tightness, any stiffness, pain, discomfort. And notice if your neck and head want to move too. Let them move whatever way they want to with this rocking of your pelvis. And let's pause, stretch the arms long. Inhale. And as you exhale, open your arms and take them into the cactus or the goalpost shape. Let's stretch the legs up the wall again. And then cross your legs the other way. Now the shin on top. You probably feel odd. It's likely that you don't do this very often. Let's rock the pelvis again. Inhaling to arch the back. Exhaling to lengthen your back. And if you were rocking your chin before, try to rock your chin the opposite way this time. Notice the difference. And then let your head and neck relax and just rock your pelvis a few more times. And then bring your spine to neutral and stretch your legs back up the wall. Now, let's bend the knees, roll to the side, and move yourself away from the wall so that you can stretch your legs straight, but touch the wall with the bottoms of your feet. So arrange yourself. I like to start with my knees a little bit bent because it can feel so nice to really stretch your legs straight and push into the wall or the piece of furniture that's there. Yep. Then let's take the arms like a cactus again. Now let's turn the right foot outward. Turning it out like you're moving, well, maybe some kind of dial. And then we're going to bend the knee to the side like you're going into a tree pose. Keep pushing that left foot into the wall. Now let's pull the right elbow and the right knee towards each other, side bending to the right, and stretch your left arm straight away from the wall, palm facing the center line. Take a big long inhalation here. And as you exhale, we'll go back to neutral, cactus arms, legs both straight. Then turn the left foot out, slide your knee up like you're going into a tree pose. Bring your elbow and knee together on the left, and stretch your right arm long, palm facing the center line. Breathe in. Breathe out back to center. Now let's go side to side very slowly with the breath. Inhaling as you side bend right. And exhaling as you come back to the neutral. Inhaling as you side bend left. Exhaling to the center. Keep going with your own breath rhythm. And always remember that every pose is optional. You can find your own rhythm, maybe by breathing much more slowly or much more quickly. Doing your best to keep that breath with that practice of breathing through whatever you're finding. Let's do each side one more time. Realizing this was a very silly shirt to wear to be lying on the floor and wriggling around. At least it isn't cold today. I'm not getting cold there in the middle. Okay. Now we're going to take the arms straight up and then cross your right arm over your left arm as high as you can. Then reach around and hold on to your shoulder blades. And let's rock the elbows side to side. Incorporate your breath in a way that works for you. Move in a way that allows you to keep attending to your breath. Let's go each side one more time. Now let's open the arms wide to the sides, fingers spread, feet press into the wall, and breathe through. Breathe through yourself. All right, arms come up, left arm crosses over the right. This time, if your elbows will allow you to entwine the lower arms and hands, you could do that instead, or you could catch your shoulder blades. Either one is great. We're going to do the same thing of rocking the elbows side to side, letting the shoulder and the shoulder blade come up away from the floor. And incorporating breath. Include breath, include this idea of clarity, purity, breathing through whatever comes, finding ways to really meet whatever comes, knowing that it's not going to stay. Each side one more time, please. And unwind your arms and open them to the sides again. Take some breaths here with that idea of breath moving through. Okay, now we're going to bend just the right knee and the right elbow. Left arm comes down by your side. Now we're going to roll over towards the left, pushing the inner edge of the right foot down so your back comes off the floor. And as you do that, stretch your right arm straight and turn the palm towards center line or maybe even towards the floor. And then as you exhale, bring your hip back to the floor and your arm back to the cactus shape. Let's do that again. We'll inhale, swing knee across, stretch arm long. Exhale, bring your hip down to the floor. Let's keep going. And as you roll over onto that left hip, your left leg can turn out. Push that left foot into the wall any amount you can. And then exhale, let the left foot relax. I'm going to scooch in a little closer because I want to get more contact with my left foot. Inhale, the leg turns out. You push that foot into the wall. And you exhale, back to cactus, toes turned up. 2 more times. Okay. Now let's slide the right leg out straight and take the right arm down by your side. Let's turn both palms up. And we'll spread the fingers and the toes and feel again for breath moving through, life moving through. Okay, now it's time to bend the left arm like a cactus. Bend the left knee. Push into the inner edge of the left foot. Swing your knee across the center line. Slide your left arm straight. Exhale, back to the ground, back to cactus. Keep going now at your own pace, your own breath rhythm. And let's start to add the right foot and leg turning out. As you roll onto the outer hip, turn the foot out, push your foot into the wall. Again, I'm finding I need to scoot a little closer to get good contact. Breathing in, breathing out. One more time. Then we'll take the left arm down by your side. Left leg stretches out straight. Okay, now we're going to bend both of the knees. And we'll cross the right thigh over the left thigh, up as high as you can. In some bodies, it might feel nice to wrap that right foot around the left calf or shin. Don't need to. I don't think I'm going to today. We're going to take the arms out to the sides with the palms turned down. Now let's start to rock the knees side to side, squeezing the thighs together like you're holding some really important document there between the thighs. You don't want to lose it. Good. Let's come back to neutral and slide the left foot in a little closer to your sitting bones. Okay. Now we're going to cross the arms again with the right arm also on top. Either entwine your elbows and palms or reach around and hold onto your shoulder blades. We'll take the knees over to the left and the elbows over towards the right. And then we'll come back to center. We're just going to go that direction. Knees left, elbows right. It's a small movement. 2 more. Okay, let's come to center. Open the arms wide. Uncross the right leg. Pause and breathe. Let life move through you. Across the left thigh over the right. You could entwine if you wish. I think this time I'll play with entwining. Oh, it's actually uncomfortable. I don't think I will. So you want the heel to come in close to the sitting bone. And then we'll rock the knees to both sides to begin with. And bring your hips back to neutral, keeping them crossed, the legs crossed, that is. We'll stack the left arm on top of the right. And again, this time I'm going to entwine. You can entwine or hold the back of your shoulder. Knees are going to go right, the elbows to the left, and back center. Now, I notice my shoulders are hunching up when I do that. Let's try to avoid hunching up the shoulders and make it more of a little tiny twist through the waist. One more time. And then unwind your arms, uncross your legs. Let's stretch the legs out again. Arms can come down by your sides. Okay. So now we're going to slide that right leg. Take the arms out to the sides again. Slide your right leg up like you're doing a tree pose. And then rock your knee up towards the ceiling and slide the right leg out straight again. Then let's do it backwards. Slide the knee to face the ceiling. Rock your knee out to the side. Slide your leg out straight. Left leg now. Take it out to the side, sliding it toward a tree pose. Knee faces the ceiling. Stretch that leg back out. And then reverse. Knee faces the ceiling. Rock the knee out. Slide the leg out straight. Let's get a little closer to the wall so that whichever foot is not in the moving position, it's going to push into the wall. And then bring your hands to your front hip bones there. We're going to keep the pelvis from tipping, both by using the abdomen and by using the leg that stays steady. So let's slide that right leg into the tree pose again. Knee goes up toward the ceiling, and then stretch the leg out straight. Now we'll do it in reverse. Knee faces ceiling, leg goes to tree pose. Slide the right leg out straight. Let's begin on the left side now. Tree pose. Knee faces ceiling. Leg stretches out. Push that right foot into the wall. Left knee bends towards the ceiling. Without the pelvis tipping, we rock the knee to the side, and then we slide the leg out straight again. All right. Now we're going to scooch away from the wall a little bit so the feet are not touching the wall. Bend your knees. Place your hands together behind your head. So now we're going to do that spinal rocking, the undulations, the pelvic tilt that we did earlier. And as you arch your back, I want you to swing your chin away from your chest. As you lengthen your back, chin goes towards the chest, elbows come in, and you could curl up into a little sit-up. Let's do that again. Inhaling, arch the back, arch the neck. Exhaling, tone and curl. Let's keep going this way. And notice that you might have a reaction or a response to working with these sit-ups. We do them so often, probably just about every week. And whatever response or reaction is coming, can you let yourself just breathe through it? Let's do 2 more. And then rest. Leave your hands laced behind your head. Now let's raise the feet up so they come up to the height of your knees, and your knees are just above your hips. Tone your belly towards the floor. Hug your low belly muscles towards the floor. Hug your rib cage towards the floor. Flex your feet. Now bring your right heel down to touch the floor. And then as you exhale, bring it right back up to meet the left knee. Drop the left heel towards the floor. And then the knees come back up to the same height. Let's do this a few times. Exhaling as we raise the leg back up. One more. Yeah, and then bring your knees into your chest. Bring your hands out from behind your head. Give yourself a little squeeze. Let's take a moment here to do a little rocking side to side. And we'll meet in the neutral. Now, purposefully lace your hands together the unfamiliar way and bring your hands back behind your head. And we'll take the legs back up to that same position. This time, keep your belly toned and reach your right leg out, maybe at a 45-degree angle, and then bend it again. Left leg, reach it out, and bend it again. And we're going to keep going this way. And if you need more challenge, when you reach your leg out, you could take it lower and lower towards the floor. You must be able to keep your belly toned, though, so that we're not straining the back, but instead requiring the abdominal muscles to do more work. How would you like to use the breath? The exhalation can be helpful for coordinating with the toning of the belly. My experience is that when you stretch the leg out, that's when the belly tone needs to really be there. So you can play with breath and find out how do you want to use those exhalations to bring in that feeling of that mountain-like steadiness, or firmness, right there in your own abdomen. Let's do each leg one more time. And when you finish, bend your knees into your chest again. Bring your hands to the shins. And let's make some circles with the knees. Let's go both directions. And meet back in the center. Let's put the feet to the floor. Let's go for the familiar lacing of the hands. Palms turn up to the ceiling. Rock onto your heels and inhale. As you exhale, straighten your legs and stretch your arms overhead simultaneously. Your feet will not touch the wall, but pretend that they are touching the wall. Good. One more breath in. And as you exhale, release your arms, release your legs. Arms come down by your sides and take a breath there. Okay, bend your knees now. We're going to roll to the side and turn over onto our bellies. Come onto your abdomen with your arms folded. Rest your head on your arms. Press your pubic bone down into the floor and resist your belly away from the floor. I only have my head lifted so you can hear me. I want you to rest your head on your arms like this. Okay, now let's lift the right leg and turn it inward and then put it back down. Lift the left leg, turn it inward, put it back down. Resist your belly away from the floor as you push your pubic bone into the floor. So you should feel your glutes activate here. This is like the toned version of the pelvic rocking we were doing earlier. Now let's lift the right leg up and hold it there. Keep turning that leg inward, inward, inward. Resist your belly away from the floor. Good. Breathing in. As you breathe out, lower that leg down. Raise the left leg now. Turn it inward. Resist the belly away from the floor. Press your pubic bone strongly down. Really use those glutes. And exhale to lower the leg down. Now let's bend the right knee and flex your foot. Same idea. Belly resists, pubic bone heavy, and lift that leg up from the floor. Any amount. It may not leave the floor today or ever. Just use your intention to do this. And let even that effort flow through you. Good. Put that leg down, let it rest. Then the left leg, foot is flexed. The leg's rotating in, so your foot is moving a bit towards the side of your mat. Heavy pubic bone, light belly, and that attempt to lift the leg. Good. Release that leg down. Now we'll bend the right leg again and reach back and catch your foot. Your head's going to have to rest on the floor here. And then reach back and catch your left foot. If you can't catch your feet, just reach back through the air. If you're able to, catch above the ankles so you can flex your feet again. Now you can stay here with your head on the floor, or you can push your pubic bone down and resist the belly up and kick your legs up away from the floor. So it's the bow pose, Dhanurasana. Be sure that your glutes are active and you're lengthening down away from your waist. You're trying to pull your belly off the floor. Keep your pubic bone heavy. Breathe in one more time. Exhale, come all the way down and rest. All right, now slip your hands under your shoulders. Press yourself on up to all fours. I have a wrist injury happening right now, so I'm going to come onto my fists today. It's a wonderful option if you are having discomfort with the wrists in cat-cow. Then let's arch the back as we did before on the floor, arching the neck at the same time. There's that cow pose. Inhale. Exhale, round your back. Let your head drop, pulling the belly back towards the spine as you exhale. Let's do about 3 more of those. Come back to neutral. All right, now we're going to take this blanket, I'm going to fold it in half lengthwise, end to end. And then if your blanket has fringe like mine does, start on the fringy side. We'll tuck the fringe inside. We're going to roll it up into a log. We're going to make a log of that blanket. I'm going to take that log and place it the same orientation as your mat at one end of the mat. You can give it a little press, it might help it stay on the floor better. Then you need a pillow or another blanket. I'm going to use a blanket. And we'll be using this for a pillow. So you can hear that a pillow would be just fine. We'll place this prop at the opposite end of the roll. Now watch here, I'm going to sit at this end of the roll and I'll attempt to put my spine right down on top of the rolled blanket, my blanket log, and then the other blanket or pillow just goes under your neck and head, not under your shoulders. So your shoulders can drape down over the roll. With the legs, we have a lot of options. One option would be to put the soles of the feet together and the knees apart. You might do that for part of your reclined practice. Then you may switch to cross legs, like we did on the wall. If you do cross legs, I'll cue you to change sides. You might also go ahead and start with your legs stretched out. You choose. I'm going to cue you to go through all of those, but you decide what works best for you. If you're wearing glasses, remove your glasses now. If there's anything else you need to do before we go into full Shavasana, do that now. In fact, because it's a recording, you could even pause, go use the bathroom or get a drink or whatever you need to do, as long as you're sure you're going to come back. Shavasana is the most important part of your practice. This is your integration. So I'm cueing now to start with Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees apart, eyes closed. Letting your breath move through your body. Softening, relaxing your body as much as you can so breath can just glide through. Breezing through like the soft wind coming through your curtains. And coming through the screens in your windows. Through the needles on the trees. This breath that acknowledges space, emptiness. You keep your legs this way if you like, or you can switch to cross legs, Sukhasana, sweet pose or easy pose. Let breath move through your thoughts now, in between and around thoughts. Acknowledging all the space between thoughts. And thoughts themselves are not permanent, fixed things. Doing cross legs, switch to the other leg now. You're still doing cross legs. Let's stretch the legs out. Clearly, you can make your choice if you want to stay with any of those positions. Let's let breath move through your feeling life, emotions. It's like thoughts, these emotions are not permanent. We can't hold on to the ones we like. We can't get rid of the ones we don't like. Gosh, that's the wrong way to say it. We aren't stuck with the ones we don't like. Nothing will last. Not need to get too attached or too invested in any feeling or thought or condition in the body. It can be quite interesting if you feel a strong sensation in your body to take all of your attention there. Try to find, where is that? What is that? Explore. Find a way to breathe with whatever you're finding. Let your awareness move through you, through it. Let it move through you. Sahana bhavatu, sahanao punaktu, saha viryam paravavai, tejasvinavadhinamastu, ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Begin to deepen your breath now. Remembering as always that the breath is going with you. This practice of letting life move through you can be recalled by just noticing that you're breathing. Your legs are straight, bend them now. Roll to your right side. Make your way up to a seat and join me for our closing. Sit in any posture that's comfortable for you. Join your palms together in front of your heart. Namaste. Thanks so much for practicing with me today. Always a delight to teach for Unity Care, recorded live, however we do it. I'll be making another recording for you for next week, and then I'll be back later in the month of June. All right, take good care, everyone.